Are you ready to bring a beatdown to Miror B? Oh, I bet you are. Yeah, I'm DeoGenZ. Ridiculous as usual. And today we're going to take on another absurd character. You know, he's very similar to me, except he's a bit more higher pitched. And that guy's name's Miror B. Miror B! And he's a bastard. That's what the B stands for. Miror B the bastard. Because he is taking sweet, innocent little pokes, prying their heart out, stepping all over it, and then putting a lock and chain over the remains of the gooey heart. You know, that's graphic enough for you? Well, this is what this bastard's doing. I hope you know. That's how they make shadow Pokemon, you know? They do like Mortal Kombat rip your heart out style and just fucking make it shadowy. So, before we enter into this battle, before anybody does, save your file! Because if you don't, you're going to be furious in quite a while. Miror B, I had talked about briefly on the past episode. He's the first boss of this game, and you know what? He can be brutal if you don't have a good strategy going into it. And, well, we'll see how it works out for me, yeah, because, I'm kind of that guy who just, like, goes forward and, you know, what happens, happens, so yay for the power of Corel and editing, if we need it, but, let's booyakasha in his face and just beat him down once and foreverist. The thing that really irks me about the bosses is they don't send out their shadows to steal until the very end, so you could be undone by not catching a shadow poke and accidentally killing it. That's what makes these bosses tougher than regular gym leaders. Yeah, Woot, it's about time, darlings. I'm so frightfully tired of waiting for you. Stop the music. Oh, you kept me waiting for so long, I decided to work up a little perspiration. Ow. But, my, you have seemed busy being, I fucked that up, you've been busy being naughty and such. It was oh so close for everything to turn out just right, just the way we hoped. But I can salvage our plan by beating you, little man. And so, there's time for one last frantic dance before the grand finale. Let the music play. Ow! Yeah, so, he thinks he can save his shadow Pokemon plan by jiggling his hips and oh so pointy behind, but Miror B, you're in for quite a shock. Because we're gonna take you down! I don't care how, but we're gonna do it. I don't know how, but we're gonna do it. Alright, I'll tell you how. We're gonna do it with pure power. What makes Miror B a bitch to verse as one of the first bosses is he takes full advantage of the double battling style that this game is so ubiquitous in having. In fact, every battle is a double battle. I don't think there's one single battle you can get in unless you do a tournament, which is not accessible to us at the time. So, here's how he starts off all his matches. He likes to activate Rain Dance because both of his Ludicolo have Rain Dish, the ability which heals up their health ever so slightly in a rainstorm. Now, on top of that, these are water/grass types, so they're not only getting a small HP boost, but they're getting a power jolt as well. Let's do a slam. So right away, we're encountering someone who has great knowledge of how double battling works, and they have the proper Pokemon to use it. See, we're just kind of a ragtag team at this point of shadow pokes that don't exactly all want to pay attention to my dictations and don't always want to play the way that I want to, and sometimes they get outrageous and they hurt themselves, and I've never seen them hurt me, but cool, we got them a flinch. That's fantastic. Oh wow, what's up with the level 29 Ludicolo doesn't have Rain Dish? Fail. Get hurt! Ah, damn it. Don't astonish me. Alright, Quagsire can take the hit. Oh no, but he can't take this one! Yeah, so Quagsire, being one of the first shadow pokes you get early on, so you'll be training him for a while, is super effectively hit by both of these annoying Ludicolos. Focus on one before you attack the other. Do not separate your power efforts amongst the two. I know it's very tempting on a double battle to send one poke after the other and, you know, keep it separated. But in this case, you can't keep them separated. You gotta focus their attacks on one foe. This way, they will fail very fast. As you can see, look who we replaced that one Ludicolo with. Another one! Except this has level 31 and might, in fact, have the Rain Dish ability that I was praising him for, which he forgot to have on his level 29 Ludicolo. I suppose the AI had to be somewhat fair to you and give you a chance to kill his pokes, because if every single one had Rain Dish, it'd be difficult to deal with. And now Leech Seed, too. Great, great. You know, as if I wasn't having enough trouble with grass types before. Fuck your face! I hope you get flinch. Yeah, now he's getting health, sapped from Quagsire, who's low on health already, thanks to the Razor Leafs that these guys can fire off at will, which hits both of my team members. You know, he doesn't even have to worry about splitting up his power amongst my two pokes. He's got both of his double team members being capable of hitting both at the same time, so that is another annoyance of Miror B. But we're going to Brute Strength him, and to do that, I like to switch out to Umbreon because he's got some good resistance against these guys. You know, Astonish is not so astonishing to Umbreon, although I do believe it will still make him flinch, unfortunately. But, you know, it's not going to super effectively destroy him, and Umbreon has some good special defense and defensive stats, naturally. So that is important, and good. The rain stopped. This is the time to wallop Miror B, because he's going to take one turn with one of his Ludicolo to use Rain Dance, and that will disrupt his attacking patterns from a pure onslaught of Razor Leaf to you. Hells yeah, level gain. That's great. Level gain in this game is crucial. I mean, I know it is for every RPG. It matters that your level goes up, but it especially matters here. There's no wild pokes to level grind with, which makes this game a tad tougher. You have to focus where your experience points are going. Good. Get owned by yourself. And that's another nice thing about Umbreon. You know, not only is he somewhat of a wall without having to do any EV investments, effort value investments into it, he has supporting, straggling moves that will strangle your foes, like Confusion. Like Secret Power, which sometimes has the secondary effect of paralyzing your foe depending upon what arena you're battling on. And I'm not that specific in knowing the moves to a T, so I couldn't tell you what status effect would affect where. If we're in a cave, I have no clue how it would differ from a battle arena. Who knows? But Confusion is a great way to destroy his strategy slowly. Because like that, you're not guaranteed Confusion striking himself every time. But even there, a critical hit, wow, who cares? Compared to what Quagsire was dealing with, where it only took a couple more of those Razor Leafs before he was doomed, this is beautiful. And that's why, you know, it may seem as though Miror B has maximum power over your team, but if you whittle them down, each Ludicolo at a time, you know, you'll brute force your way through this first battle, and hopefully by the second boss we'll have some sort of team narrative going, and we'll have some players working off of each other's benefits and weaknesses, and, you know, supplementing for when it's good to use Sunny Day if we get a Fire Poke, which, you know, I intend to raise that Quilava to a Typhlosion, so we will. It's just a matter of time, and at this point in the game, it's all about brute force. It's all about imposing your will on this poofballed freak. He thinks he can win. Thinks he can Shadow Ties all the Pokemon in the world. Which, for a boss of Shadow Pokemon, I'm pretty confused by the fact that he doesn't have a whole team of Shadows. Maybe he is not wanting to admit this to himself, but maybe the Shadow design is imperfect. I mean, the fact that they attack themselves is not a good design. They get recoil damage every time they use a Shadow Rush. That can't be good. And neither is that. Yeah, it's not even a little good. Wow, amazingly he held on, though. I thought that was a feint for sure. Gotta go rewind that, but I thought for sure that Water Gun was a one-hit KO. Wow. Right on, Slugma. Sticking to it with 1 HP. Chi can see that Pseudo-Wudo is not normal. Wow, badass, Slugma. Well, I know I'm going to be destroyed in this next turn, so let's get rid of that Ludicolo so he can stop doing his rain dancing doom attacks of powering himself up and healing himself with Rain Dish. That's so annoying. But now we've only got to focus on the Shadow Pokemon once we destroy him. Come on, get hurt, get hurt! Yes! In the face! Alright, good. That's what I like to see. So now Slugma. Wow, Slugma is like the surprise MVP for this match. I really didn't think he would hold on, but never mind. Never mind, this is gonna finish me off pretty handily. Yep, it hits both of my opponent, or both of my pokes rather, and he didn't get to use a second yawn. But at this next turn, Ludicolo should be put to sleep. So that's perfect for focusing on the Shadow Poke. It's really annoying when you have one Pokemon walloping you with annoying damage and doing all these dastardly effects with his Rain Dish and his powering up of his own moves. It's very frustrating. So now, go to sleep and get owned! This way we can completely focus on the Sudowoodo. I don't know how strong Furret is. Okay, well, not super strong, so it's going to take a couple of strikes before we can chuck our balls at it. Come on, Umbreon. Chomp it out of the game! Okay, that's good. If we get two more hits like that, and it stays asleep, we'll be in the clear. Yeah, you smiling, throwing rocks at us. I like how they developed Miror B's team, in that they didn't give you what you thought you would be seeing, which is a Shadow Ludicolo. They brought out another dancing Pokemon, which I didn't know that, Sudowoodo liked to booga down so much, but look at him, he's like, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. So, it's pretty funny. His team, him being a dancing, eccentric kind of guy, he's got the Pokemon to match. Jeez, body slamming with the brunt of the force of his body. He's like, I may just be a rock stick, but I'm a rock stick. I'm not just a twig. I'll break you in half, huh? How you like it? Breaking all my buddies. Thinking that you could step on all the twigs. I wouldn't care. Bullshit. I'm gonna body slam you with a Shadow Rush. And we don't have the time to call back Furret at this moment, so the critical hit of a Shadow Pokemon in Hyper Mode actually helps. When versing with Shadow Pokemon that don't gain any levels and can't be having any items used on them in Hyper Mode, you have to know when is the time. You have to know... Perfect! You have to know when is the time to call them. We will focus on just having Umbreon attack right now, because if we did a critical hit on that Sudowoodo, I don't want to know how much damage it does. By doing a consecutive bite where I can gauge how much damage, how much life he's going to lose, we can be that much more successful in claiming him as our own. Oh, my nuts! Why'd he kick me in the low spot? Oh, Umbreon didn't like it either. He's curling up, fetal position. Oh, he's fucked. Alright, alright. Alright. Now we actually do have to use a Shadow Pokemon against a Shadow Pokemon. This should be interesting. Well, here's hoping they don't go into Hyper Mode. I am not wanting to, I'm not wanting to waste my time with this. I don't want him to get too low to the point where I'm going to destroy him accidentally. Chant with me, everyone. Yumo gwe gwe fi mi zao, Yumo gwe gwe fi mi zao, Yumo... Yes! Uncle! Your good magic defeat dark magic! It's so good to be talking to my generation of people who actually understand what I'm talking about. When I say, Uncle must do research! To somebody out in the wild, they look at me like I'm Miror B, and I got a Pokeball on my head. How dare you! Don't you dare think you'll get away with your latest outrage! One of these days I will take great pleasure in kicking you about with my elegant dance styles! Oh, and I'm not giving up our Shadow Pokemon plan! No, sorry, Bob! Let's go! Time to escape! I like how he doesn't call back his Ludicolo. He's just like, well, they're gonna follow me or they're not. They're gonna want to be Shadow Pokes or they're not. Well, did we just hear Plusle? Chi, being ultra sensitive to Pokemon, thinks that she heard him. Aha, you got glitched. Now you can't follow us around anymore. Hee hee hee. We don't need you. We can see Shadow Pokemon on our own. The nice thing about the programming is it does not force you to go get Chi first. She'll catch up if she catches up, or if not, she'll find her way. Purification of Pokemon. Shadow Pokemon are fighting machines created by closing the doors to their hearts. The process of restoring a Shadow Pokemon back to its original state is known as purification. Exactly how a Shadow Pokemon is purified is unclear, but there appear to be several methods. We must eliminate reaction to these factors and create Shadow Pokemon that will never revert back to their original purified forms. Chief Ian at the Shadow Pokemon Lab. What a bastard. What a dark and devious fellow. He does not want these Shadow Pokemon to be purified. And it looked like this guy was in the process of being isolated and having his heart slowly closed. I don't really see the benefits of making a Plusle a Shadow Pokemon unless they're just doing it for quantification purposes, like, oh, you know, nobody uses Plusle. It's got to be in the never used tier, I would imagine. So maybe if this Shadow Pokemon shit works out well, we can take Pokemon that are practically never used, and we will have them be as strong as a Raging Gyarados. Imagine that, a Plusle with the power of a Raging Gyarados. That would be intense. So, duking, the wimp with muscles that he is, his arms certainly do not define who he is as a person. He's kind of a pushover with a fake mustache. I bet you could just go up to him and rip that fucker off. I bet you could, because he's not man enough to kick out Miror B, that clown, out of his town, and he was letting him do this shadow experiment right in the very caves of Pyrite Town and, you know, let the shadow Pokemon epidemic spread. You fail, Duking, you fail. I think I should sit in that big chair. But instead of getting his chair, we actually get his Plusle. So that's a plus. You know, it's not a really big thing. I don't know how rare a Plusle is. Tell you the truth, in the 3rd generation games, I could have sworn it wasn't that difficult to find. But maybe it's a version exclusive sort of thing, so if you had that game where you wouldn't ever find Plusle, that was the benefit of getting this one. You know, thanks for giving us your Plusle, but honestly, I fear it's going to suffer the same fate as all the other Pokemon in the Life of the Box series. I'm never going to touch it again, especially since it's not even Shadow, so I don't have to work to purify it. But in the next episode, we will be heading towards the area of purification, seeing what we can do to help these Shadow Pokes.